Hello and welcome to a video covering the most recent developer Q&A where the JMods talked about upcoming Switchscape reduction, the character rework, the return of the beach event and more, so whenever you're ready grab your cup of tea, sit back, relax and enjoy. If you enjoy all kinds of Runescape content and want to stay updated with the recent news, be sure to subscribe. Kicking it off with the player avatar rework, it's something they mentioned and talked about during this livestream, and they believe it is super important, especially Mod Sponge, who calls the character outdated, which it absolutely is, and many of you will agree. Now they want to make sure this update is done right, and they've kind of put it on hold since last year because it's super complex. There's 20 years of content to rework a character, which is what Mod Mike brought up, and I believe this is a valid argument, and I don't think this is something we could have expected to see that first year where we saw the prototypes and such on the screen. Unlike dev costs and the economy, I believe this is something that is going to take many more years to do properly, simply because there's so many items, and this is something they mentioned as well during the live stream, that have to fit with this new character, including bunches and bunches of old content, maybe even quest items. They want to have the right level of quality when they release this rework, because otherwise the community is just going to receive this update, the character rework, as a massive failure and probably be pretty upset about it. I don't think this is something we can expect this year or even next year, and I think it's for the better. Now they did also mention that we could potentially in the future test these characters on a beta server.
Again, if we can get things like on beta servers where people can actually try it and experiment with it and give us feedback, that would be really great.
During this livestream, they also mentioned that 32-bit support for Runescape is going to be gone probably next month and at most in July. This is something we already knew was coming thanks to news posts, but now we have a better indication of when it's actually going to be gone. The beloved beach event is coming back this year, arriving at the end of June with new rewards as usual and apparently new beach boss mechanics.
What Days has been very busily giving it a bit of TLC for this year. So he's one of the original devs who worked on it. He's put in some cool new rewards. There's some I don't want to spoil things. I'm going to spoil things. There's some new mechanics around audio. Yeah, there's some, let's say, some Aya-themed beachwear and some lovely new Elder Gods-themed surfboards. But yeah, there's some cool stuff there and loads more as well. So
the economy and inflation are a hot topic, and therefore it was also one of the most popular questions for this live stream, and they gave us more of the same in terms of the answer. They don't want to do heavy changes like removing gold sources or making heavy gold sinks, as that is something we as players would very likely dislike. Now, as we or people that follow my channel already know but don't really feel, is that they are working on it and will have a blog post coming very soon about what the plans are to fix inflation in the economy, and then we'll be able to give feedback and ideas and such.
Yeah, I think we are going to blog some stuff quite soon, aren't we? Yeah. About what those plans are. I think we did talk about this before. So, yeah. You know, there is a design behind this. We're doing work on it right now. The team are working on putting together a blog post that will explain the plans of what we intend to do, so it's very clear and we can get feedback and make sure everybody's comfortable with it. I think that's probably as much as I can say right now.
They also mentioned that we'll be learning more about Zamorak and the 4th Elite Dungeon boss quite soon, and I wouldn't be surprised if that is 2 weeks from now, as the boss is releasing on the 4th of July, around a month from now. And in case people didn't know, there will be a free death week, and they confirmed it on this livestream, meaning if you die at the boss, it will be completely free for that week, which is always fantastic with new releases, as everyone is learning and lots of people are dying, obviously. Now, they also talked about the Chaos Die reroll tokens, which will apparently have a drop rate increase, and they might even share the drop rates themselves next Monday. Players have been requesting a single or universal Elite Dungeon Lucky Charm for quite some time now, and according to Mod Sponge, it is likely to get done, especially with Zamorak coming up with Elite Dungeon 4. So it's possible that in the coming weeks, or on Zamorak's release, or around Zamorak's release, we get that universal Elite Dungeon Charm. Now, Switchscape is something that many players that aren't incredibly good at mashing keys and switching keys and doing a lot of things at once dislike. And in this livestream, it seemed like they basically confirmed Switchscape is going to be reduced in the coming weeks, or at least one thing is going to be reduced.
There's something in a piece of upcoming content that is like a straight up reduction to Switchscape for some players. And then there's something we're going to be trialing too that is kind of investigating if it could help reduce Switchscape. But you'll find out more about that in the coming weeks.
Regarding Switchscape, what they did talk about is that they don't want to lower the skill ceiling too much where you don't have any switches at all, and they don't want to take away the fun some players have when switching or juggling a bunch of different items. Likely, what is going to be fixed, and that's what they mentioned, are common problems like, for example, the Ring of Vigor that was fixed, and they mentioned Planted Feet as an example. You know, things that the majority of the player base deals with, and not niche, extremely high-level PvM, fancy switches or tricks to get the, you know, the last drop of damage out of your rotation. During the live stream, the construction rework was brought up yet again because it's a commonly asked question, and they've said it again and again that it's not happening because of the scale of it, and to be honest, at this point, I don't even want a construction rework anymore. Just add a new modern trading method alongside the other ones we already got, like construction contracts, that doesn't give you carpal tunnel, and just be done with it. The PvM hub has become our place for useful things, and it's probably easier to code and add things to the PvM hub than to rework construction as a skill.
So currently we are not making a construction rework. Making a construction rework would require us to sort of decide that a construction rework is of more value to the game and our players than a new skill is, or an equivalent large update taking the same amount of time. And that's what holds us back from just saying, yes, of course, we're going to do it. Because I'm not sure that it's the right choice, basically.
And don't forget that a lot of players already have 99 constructions, so reworking a skill that a lot of players already have 99, at least the vocal ones, about the rework, you know, is it worth that dev time? I don't think it is. Not at this point anymore. Not in 2022. And these are the types of decisions they make when considering to rework content or to add new content. And you know, the same thing can be said about Mazcap and Raids, which were also brought up. Raids was an experiment, and the audience for group PvM is just too niche, too small, and you can clearly see that in gameplay today. The same was said about Ultimate Iron Man mode. You know, the Iron Man player base is apparently very small compared to the main account player base. So adding a game mode, you know, an Ultimate Iron Man game mode for, you know, a smaller part of the community doesn't make sense from a business standpoint or gameplay standpoint. You're making something that costs a lot of dev time for, you know, a minority in terms of the player base. What they're trying to do is focus on the largest group of people with the resources they have available to them. Speaking of large groups of people, apparently 1/3 of the player base uses mobile.
You know, people playing on mobile every day, which is fantastic. It's about 1/3 of our player base are using mobile on a daily basis.
And the 1-year anniversary of mobile's release is coming up, and you'll be able to log in both on desktop and PC to claim something from the marketplace. They didn't say what, but you'll be able to claim it for 2 weeks starting next Monday. And with that being said, we've covered the majority of important things mentioned during this livestream. Now sure, they mentioned stuff about reducing the time cost of making the 295 arrows, the new multi-client, the new protein items being available from protein packs, but until we get solid dates or solid changes, I don't think those are worth covering just yet. With that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video and found it interesting. If you did, leave a like down below and maybe even consider subscribing, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.